It's winter and I'm freezing cold. That's it. That's the intro for this video. We're putting heat in the garage. In the process of working on this two-wheel drive mini bike and also the secret project that is behind the camera, so if you see it in the background of this video, no you didn't, I've been using this little buddy heater. It's propane powered and I don't remember exactly what the BTU count of it is, but it's not very much. And then I've also been using these little sodium acetate hand warmers to just get by. But I'm tired of it because I'm really cold. It is currently 48 degrees in here and it is the warmest it has been all week. So the plan is to take this Powercoy diesel heater that I have when I go camping and mount it in that window. The plan is to build a little wooden shelf that basically sits right here with a little vertical surface with vents in it so that the window can shut to be able to plumb the heat from the diesel heater into the garage. And then also it's going to have a support or multiple to prevent the cantilever effect because that thing's not heavy, but it's not extraordinarily light either. So let's go ahead and get the static camera set up and get some wood cut. Okay, we got our little wooden box, and don't get on to me about not using pressure-treated lumber. It's going to get painted, so I'm not particularly worried about weathering. But we got our little lumber box. Now we have to drill the holes in it and then install the ductwork around back. You know, install the Y-pipes and the 90s and stuff in here, and then fill it all with spray foam, and then we can seal it up with the board on the back, and then we can go about building the shelf that the diesel heater is going to sit on out here. Okay, you can see exactly my thought process. Hot air will come in, get diverted, and then go out of the holes on the front, and then into the garage through that little slit right there. And it'll sit in the window seal exactly like this, and that is what this little piece on the bottom is for. It is wrapped in just HVAC insulation tape to help support the weight of this so it doesn't just fall down and come loose. And then, of course, here in a second, we are going to fill this entire box with insulating spray foam. I got the fire-resistant stuff just for the sake of posterity. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to that camera again and fill this thing with spray foam. All right, the box is filled with spray foam. Don't worry about those two little areas that I missed. I'm going to finish filling them in. Now we have to cut out a rectangle so that this board can slide into place, and then we can actually worry about building the shelf that the diesel heater itself is going to fit on. So let's go ahead and cut to the static camera shot of that. Now, I've never claimed to be a carpenter, so don't you go criticizing me, but this box will suffice for the purpose that we want it to serve. So now let's get it installed in the window, so then we can build our support legs down to the ground right here. And if you haven't got that image yet, the diesel heater itself is going to sit on this shelf, and then we can plumb the heat with insulated piping into our little distribution box here. You can see here, it's going to be laid out almost exactly like this, except with an insulated pipe running from the output of the diesel generator to our manifold to run through the window and into the garage. And if you saw me trying to mock it up to be in line, I decided to mount it transversely like this to be able to keep it underneath the ledge of my house. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to getting this painted so it'll be weatherproof, because that's not pressure treated lumber. Well, got the insulated HVAC piping hooked up. Is it going to work? We're going to find out here in a second, because I got the remote control. I'm going to go ahead and run an extension cord from the front porch to plug it up, and then we're going to actually see if it puts hot air into the garage. It's a little bit warmer in here today after the winter storm, but that dang groundhog saw his shadow, so we got 6 more weeks of winter. I got the diesel heater full of 1.5 gallons worth of number 2 diesel. Let's fire it up and see how long it takes to actually heat up the workshop. Remote control is going to be super handy. Thought I would break out the thermal camera and show you that these openings are getting pretty toasty. It's definitely pumping a fair amount of hot air out of both of the holes. This thermal camera is old though, so pardon the quality. Thought it would also be a good idea to break out my combustible gas detector and see if there are, in fact, any combustible gases that are coming through the heated space, and it looks like there are none, even on the highest sensitivity. That is something that those little propane heaters are known to do, which is release combustible gas into the heated space. And that's typically why they give you a headache, but it looks like this one is not releasing any fumes at all into the heated space. After exactly an hour of running, we're almost up to 60 degrees when it is sub 40 outside. Even lower with the wind chill, if you account for the wind chill. So I think that's pretty impressive that after only an hour, just the diesel heater has been able to raise the temperature by nearly 20 degrees. Well, it is hour 2 of the diesel heater running, and we seem to have plateaued at 60 degrees in here, which is not bad. It does make it bearable in here. Let's walk over and see how much fuel we've used. Showing literally full still. And this thing has been running at full speed. That remote's cold. I can feel the heat, I can feel how cold it is outside. But now, let's see how long that tank should last. It should last a full 48 hours, but we'll see. The diesel heater has been running for a full 8 hours, and we're just about at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And let's check on the fuel economy to see how much fuel it's used. It's right at about half. Slightly over half. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to go ahead and shut this down because I don't want it running overnight when I'm not awake to check on it. Tomorrow, I'm going to bring the garage up to temperature because honestly about 60, 65 is perfect. And then I'm going to see if I can keep the garage at about 60, 65 degrees on a lower power setting because that's been running for 8 hours on the highest setting and it's only used about 0.75 of a gallon of fuel. So it's already getting really good fuel economy, but I want to see if I can do even better. While the heater is heating up for our endurance test, I figured I would talk a little bit about why I went with a diesel heater instead of just a bigger propane one. And it comes down to just pure energy. Propane in liquid form has about 95,000 BTUs per gallon, whereas diesel fuel has about 147,000 BTUs per gallon. So in theory, this should either put out more heat for the same amount or run for almost twice as long at the same heat level as a propane heater. And it did rain last night, as you can see. It didn't snow again, thankfully. And the diesel heater stayed perfectly dry because it is underneath the awning as intended. So we know it runs for 8 hours, only using a half a tank of fuel at full power, and it holds 1.5 gallons worth of fuel. Let's see how long we can run it. It's set at half power right now, and once the garage is up to temperature, I'll bring it back down until it stays up to temperature at about 60, 65 degrees. Okay, we got the garage up to about 60 degrees, which is where I find it decently comfortable. I mean, my house is typically set at 68. And it got there in about 45 minutes at half power. So let's set it back to 1/3 of full power and see how long, A, how long it lasts, and B, if it can keep this consistent temperature. It's about 37 degrees outside, slightly under 40 degrees. The outside temperature is currently 28 degrees, but it is still a nice, comfortable 65 here in the shop. And the diesel heater has been running for 12 hours, and I am getting ready to go to sleep. So let's check our fuel. We're still not even at the halfway point yet, and it's been running for 12 hours. I'm going to leave it running overnight, another 12 hours, and then see where we're at. You'll have to pardon my truck running in the background. I do have the garage still shut, but I am warming up the truck because I do need to go somewhere. The diesel heater has maintained a temperature above 60 degrees all throughout the night, and we are coming up on 24 hours of it running continuously. And it's just started to snow again. You see the snow falling out there again, so let's check our fuel. Oh, we've got about 1 liter of fuel left out of 6. So I'm just going to let it run until it runs out so we get a total time. It's still on 1/3 of total power, and it has maintained 60 degrees in here, even though it dropped down to about 25 degrees last night, even lower if you account for the wind chill. Well, the diesel heater just ran out of fuel and went through its shutdown sequence after 25 hours, 12 minutes. I'd say that's pretty good for 1.5 gallons worth of diesel fuel. And then, like you saw before, you just fill it up again right there, which I'm going to do because I'm still working in the garage. But I think I'm going to roll the outro on this video. Is this the most elegant or even optimal solution to this problem? Absolutely not. Am I surprised by how well it works for how little time and money was invested into it? Absolutely. So I'm going to keep it around for a little bit. Maybe next winter I will work on a more permanent solution to actually heating the shop, or I might be in a different shop by then, who knows. But if you need a quick solution to heat your shop, cheap Chinese diesel heater seems to be pretty dang good at it. And that's all I've got to say.